right, welcome back everyone to the Easton Hoyt Pro-Am. Nathan Brooks, we're looking at our women's pro leaderboard. Tell us what you see there.
Well, Sharon Wallace is coming in obviously at the top at 424. Looking at her 12 counts, she had 15 on the weekend, so that means she only fired 3/8, which is pretty impressive. Actually, it's crazy impressive. And then Kaylee Johnson at 414 with 11 12s. Obviously a solid round. Emily McCarthy at 408 and 8. Cara Kelly at 408 and 7. So they tied just, obviously Emily has the lead in 12 count, and Erin McGlattery at 399 and 10 12. So this ought to be pretty good race, at least for second and third. Sharon is in a pretty commanding lead there. So knowing what I know about Sharon, she's going to shoot solid.
All right, well, let's get the action started here. Let's bring out our women's pro archers.
So let's get this evening's women's pro shootdown started. And in 5th place, shooting for Hoyt from Marston, Saskatchewan, Canada. How about that? Erin McGlattery. Shooting for Matthews from Lapeer, Michigan, your 4th place qualifier, Cara Kelly. And in 3rd place, also shooting for Matthews from Wazeeka, Wisconsin, Emily McCarthy. And shooting for Matthews, your 2nd place qualifier from Dublin, Georgia, Kaylee Johnson. And in 1st place from Townville, South Carolina, Miss Sharon Wallace.
All right, Nathan, so women's pro, as we were talking about, they were judging distance. This is what we call in the ASA an unknown distance class. Explain to the folks what that means.
Well, so some of these classes out here use a rangefinder to estimate the distance, but these gals are just using their eyeballs. And so they have to figure out that depth, just like if you were throwing a football from, from behind the line of scrimmage to 10 and out. They know how to throw that. From third base to first base, you learn how to do that too. And these women have learned how to judge yardage really well.
And I mean, besides from the archery skill, I mean, that is an advanced skill in and of itself. Because like you mentioned, if you're off by a yard, you're not going to hit that bonus ring you want.
It takes a ton of time and effort to get to the point where you can do it well. Erin McGlattery there, she's from Canada, actually got out of shooting for a year or so during the COVID pandemic, and she's come back and she's shooting super strong.
Yeah.
In the shoot off here.
That looks like a 10 line there. Real close.
Close. She doesn't have her cone out, so she's definitely shooting at that lower 12.
She's been dealing with snow and cold, and I mean, she is from way up there north.
Absolutely. Saskatchewan, Canada. It's obviously got some crazy weather this time of year too.
So first up, we are on the other end with Sharon Wallace, and she is on the Wolverine.
10
for a 10 for Sharon. We know the distances. We'll get to that in the known distance. For now, we're not talking distances, but we can say that the Wolverine is, I believe, just about the farthest target out there.
Yeah, definitely it is the farthest one from my vantage point, what I see. And then we move into the second target here in the rotation, and that is a wolf, a howling wolf. And Kaylee had actually called an upper, and she's awfully close to that, but I think she may have just missed it.
There's a 10 called by Scott Parrott. What we can tell folks at home is that in these divisions, 50 yards is the max. Now there's a little wiggle room on either side, so they can go out to 52, but that's going to be your maximum distance. They know it's not farther than that.
Now this particular shot here is the Black Panther, and if you notice, it is black, and it is hard to find an aiming spot on it. And she did not call the upper, so she did hit the upper 12, but she didn't call it. So 10 points for her.
408 and 7 bonus rings. She trails Emily by 1 bonus ring.
Here's the Hyena, which is one of our new targets this year, correct?
Yeah, we've had the Hyena in the past, and they decided to bring it back this year. And honestly, she got an 8 there. Honestly, it made me awful happy. I think it made a lot of people happy because they removed the tapir that we shot last year and put this one in its place. So.
And don't let folks fool you. The guys were honest. They got rid of the taper because it's the heaviest target. They didn't like carrying it 50 yards.
I don't blame them. When it's wet, it's really heavy.
So there we see one where it's cutting that line, real close to that line. We have some unique issues. These are foam targets. So the lines, it's not like a piece of paper where you just cut it. You can see she got a 10 there. So our judges felt like she was touching that line.
Yeah, and honestly, it can even pull that line and distort the line at times to where, you know, your line is burned into the target, and so you have an inside edge and an outside edge, and that foam is soft, so it can pull that line. Sometimes, if it's only an 1/8 inch wide, it might pull it to a 1/4 inch wide and touch the arrow, and that's all it has to do is touch the arrow.
So our archers have rotated now. Erin McGladdery is down at target 1. She was shooting 5 last time, so everyone shifts through because they're all going to shoot each target one time.
Erin is on the Wolverine, which again is probably the longest shot out here and the smallest target on top of that. So she's got definitely a difficult shot in front of her. We're looking at Cara Kelly right there, and she's no stranger to this. My gosh, this girl's won about everything there is to win.
She was our 2021 Women's Pro Shooter of the Year. She won Foley this year. She won the first tournament. Emily McCarthy had a killer year last year, won multiple events. Oh, I think this is a stacked house right here.
Oh, my gosh.
Ladies, these are 5 of the best that you're going to see.
Yeah, you see that shot there by Kaylee Johnston. As she shot that, I mean, I've watched her shoot for years, and she's just had that exact same form forever. The follow-through looks great. You can tell when she's made a good shot just because it's a staple for her. You know, that same exact form over and over.
Got an 8 for Erin there. That's going to move her to 417.
That's a tough shot on that Wolverine down there.
It's out there.
It is.
That's a long shot.
It's
Small
hard
target.
It's hard to aim on.
It's
really hard to aim on.
Sharon usually calls uppers. Okay, we're just verifying.
She had moved her cone off. I don't know why, but she had moved it off.
She did call upper. That's her new game. She's added that to her game. In the last 2 tournaments, you just can't catch Sharon Wallace. She is on fire.
Well, she has a wonderful shot as well. She's a great indoor shooter. She's a handful when it comes to shooting.
Yes.
And 10
for Kaylee.
Yeah, dead center 10.
Which here in ASA scoring, we kind of consider 10 to be par. That's what you're kind of expected to shoot. You don't gain ground, you don't lose ground.
Yeah, and on this group of ladies here, you're probably going to have to shoot some 12s if you want to make any moves here because they're not going to mess up too much.
10 for Emily, 428. Cara is on the deer is the second closest target.
Yeah, that is a new target for us this year as well. It's a feeding deer, and I can just tell you personally, it's a difficult target to judge for me at the moment, just for the simple fact that it's new and it has a different dynamic front to back,
right,
than other targets we've had that look like that in the past. We've had other feeding deer, and so it's just a change, And it obviously, every little thing makes a difference when you're judging these targets, because you have to be able to recognize the exact size of that target, and that helps you understand the depth when you're trying to judge the distance. So any little change like that it can be very challenging.
So what we're doing here, Nathan, is we're going to shoot 5 arrows for sure. If anyone is within 10 points of our leader, at the end of that, we'll go to a 6th arrow. And Sharon came in with a 10-point lead and has expanded that to 12. So.
Yeah, and the other ladies at the moment have just basically not changed any positions. They've shot well, but we've just not seen any changes in scores.
I believe Cara did not call upper on that Wolverine. There's a 10 for Aaron on that Wolf. Emily has not shot yet.
She's still got plenty of time, I would think.
Yeah, they get a minute to shoot.
20 seconds left. No problem for Emily. Oh, yeah. I can't see if she called upper.
I think
she did. I think she got that one, too.
Yeah. All right, Cara Kelly shooting the Wolverine.
If she called upper, she might have that, but I don't know if she called it or not.
I think she did. Gets a 10. Yep, that's a 10.
Listen, a 10 on that Wolverine at that distance is fantastic.
Absolutely.
When you're trying to figure out how far it is and shoot a good score on it, it's a great shot.
I shot it a week ago or at the last tournament for a video. It was known distance, and I hit it in the leg. So, yeah. A 10 on that thing, I'll take that any day.
So, looking at the Wolf there, and
this is Aaron. She's going to take a 10. Move her to 427.
She's going to need a few 12s if she's going to get back into this thing. Or actually, she's going to need some 14s here.
Yeah, Sharon called upper on this Panther, but I believe she did not get that. Oh, she got the lower. Wishing she.
Guarantee.
I mean, a 10 for her is safe. All she needs to do is cruise.
Absolutely, and I guarantee you, she was just holding in the center and hoping she had enough distance to get the 10. Worst case scenario, she has a little bit too much on it, and it rises up into that 12. Like you said, she's just got to cruise. Hit cruise control for Sharon. The interesting thing is this, the third place race at the moment obviously is still tied up.
I believe she called up.
She did.
She's smiling big. I saw her smile over there. There we go. All right, so she just separated herself a little bit. Gave herself some breathing room in that third place slot.
You know, I study these shooters all the time, like really paying attention to equipment, things like that, because it always makes a difference. Each shooter has their own style and things they like, and you know, I've watched Emily change lots of things over the years, and she has really come into her own, seems like, this past couple of years.
Yes.
And I have not seen much changing in all that equipment because she's really found what worked for her.
Yep.
And I think she's you know, she switches back and forth from a hinge to a button a lot.
Yeah, she caught high on that Wolverine. That's going to be over. She's not going to like that. It's Kaylee Johnston. I always like to mention she works full-time as a nurse, so we know how busy they are these days. And yet here she is shooting with the best of the best.
And she's also one that hasn't changed. I bet she shot that same release, that same design release for a long, as long as I've known her, that's what she shot, is a 4-finger release with a thumb button. I don't know if it's the same one, but.
Right. All right, we're going down here to Emily on the Wolverine.
Looks like it's an 8, but sometimes camera angles can confuse you a little bit.
There's an 8 going by Scott Parrott.
Next up, Tara Kelly on the Wolf.
So that's going to move. That was
448.
Emily. 448. All right, this is Cara on the Wolf.
And she was going for 14 right there.
Yep, just straight under it.
That's going to be one of those she's probably regretting at the moment because Emily shot an 8 on the Wolverine.
Yes. A 10 would have helped her there.
But I think she probably fired her arrow before Emily shot hers, so she wouldn't have even known.
And for Sharon Wallace.
Sharon's got a 10 on that black cat. Wait, no, I'm
wait.
sorry. That was Aaron.
Come
with
at
the
10. There we go.
10 on
to
the
Sharon.
hyena.
466 for Sharon. Now to Kaylee. That's on the wrong side of the 10 ring. It looks from here.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be a little left.
Oh, there
Yep,
we go.
and just a touch high.
All right. All right, Nathan, we're going into the last one. Kaylee and Emily, well, I don't even know if Emily can do anything about it, but Kaylee has a chance to take this to a 6th arrow. But if things hold flat, we're not going to 6.
And this is the closest target outside of the Wolf for Sharon. And so, you know, if she hits a 12.
Sharon just looked over here very confidently.
Yes. Yes, she did. She knows that all she's got to do is make one good shot right here.
Yeah. And she said she did not take any breaks this year. She shot all the indoor stuff, went right into 3D, and she said that's helped her strength. She's been able to, she didn't have to lower her poundage to do anything. She's felt strong. She's practiced hard, and it's paying off.
Oh, for sure. You see that big black
Yes.
pad that I could just call it out to the left side of her scope housing? That is somewhat of a blinder,
Right.
to help the left eye not see past the scope housing. So it kind of helps her block that vision on the left side of the scope.
Just missed.
Just straight left. Perfect high. Just straight left.
Kaylee, wow, she got it, and she called it.
Looky there. That's
going to do it. That's going to give her
Ooh.
into the 6th arrow, and she'll be the only one. With Sharon,
nice.
of course.
I mean, just that's
Got it.
so impressive. So impressive. Great shot.
466 for Kaylee Johnston.
So Emily
Next up, we have Emily.
and Cara are close. She's a 10.
I believe that's. I don't know what Cara did.
Cara
Well,
shot at a 12 on the
Yeah,
next
we'll
one.
wait and see what Cara did first. But
For Cara. 12 for Cara.
456. So, yep, that's going to give Emily 3rd place. Cara's going to finish 4th, and Aaron will finish 5th.
So we will go to one final arrow here. What it looks like between Sharon and Kaylee.
10 point on the last arrow. There's not much you can hope for if you're the one behind.
No. I mean, just to be perfectly honest, I don't think she would want to win by something happening and Sharon shooting a 0.
For sure.
Just knowing the competitive nature of these girls and their friendships, I really doubt that.
We
that
should
would
say
be-
it has happened.
It
I've seen it.
I definitely have as well. So you never know.
So as we mentioned, Emily is going to lock up third place with a 458. That's going to land her on the podium. Nathan, we should mention here, I mean, we're not shooting just for medals and plaques here. There's thousands of dollars on the line here.
Absolutely. You know, like you said before, Kaylee is a full-time nurse, and you know, there's money to be made out here, but obviously she's a nurse, and so she's not worried about this is her paycheck or not. She loves it because she loves it.
Right.
She's into archery because she loves it. She's doing this because she absolutely loves it. And that's great to see. And then you got Sharon on the other hand, who does archery full time.
Yeah.
So the paycheck means a little bit more to Sharon. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sell that short for Kaylee.
Right.
But the paycheck means a little bit more for Sharon than it does for Kaylee. And but I'll also say this: knowing Sharon and her husband Jack and how much effort and time and training they put into it, I would say no one is outworking her at the moment.
For sure. And so what they're doing now, Nathan, is they're judging. Our judges have put out a cone that they're going to shoot from. They moved them up in front of the line, maybe, I don't know, several. Well, the cone is out there next to Sharon. It's 4 or 5 yards in front of the shooting line. We know that. And we're waiting to hear which target they're going to shoot. Did they bring out the bless buck?
I don't think they brought anything out. Actually, I think they just changed the angle at which they're shooting. I think the Wolverine or
the hyena. We are told the hyena.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they just kind of changed the angle of it, which will make it a little bit different view. It will make it a little easier. They should have an idea, a rough idea, on a distance. Now that they've fired some arrows in here, because what happens is after you shoot a few arrows. Okay, so I've come into these shoot-offs before numerous times, and you judge all the targets when it's time to judge. You write them all down on a piece of paper. You get to your very first target, and you shoot it, and you realize you shot 2 or 3 yards off.
Right.
I basically scrapped everything on my piece of paper and said everything's going to be 2 or 3 yards off, whichever direction you miss, and then just reshoot them with a different number.
So here comes Kaylee, and as we mentioned, with a 10-point deficit to Sharon, there's not much she can do here, but hey,
look,
how about that?
Heck yeah.
That's the most she could go for, so why not?
Absolutely. You know, the last shot was pretty incredible. She hit the upper 12 on that Wolverine, and she steps up here and just finishes it off with a 14 on that hyena.
Way to go, Kaylee.
Awesome shot.
Sharon enjoyed that as much as anybody. We've seen her do that as well in other tournaments. So there's the call from Scott Parrott down there. 14. Way to go, Kaylee.
Look at that smile.
So that's going to move. Mike Tyrell laying it out there that basically all Sharon has to do is hit the target.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where.
Nope, just foam. Foam wins it.
Now, usually the crowd in here, they'd like to see her shoot for that 14 as well.
Well,
it's not as safe as shooting center 10.
No, and you know, even if she does hit the animal for 5 points up there shooting at that 14, I just got a feeling she's going to center mass this thing.
I think so.
So steady.
Take the win right there.
Right in the center of the 10 ring. Yep.
No need to gamble there.
Wow. Back to back.
Back to back for Sharon Wallace. Yes, absolutely. There's her husband Jack coming out there, of course. Got to let the wife know she did well.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's just awesome.
There's the official call from Scott Parrott there. We got a 10. We're going to get Sharon over here. We're going to get a couple words from her. She makes her way over to the booth. There you see the final results there. Sharon Wallace first, Kaylee Johnston second, Emily McCarthy third, Cara Kelly in fourth, and Erin McLattery in fifth.
Pretty
so
good
that's a
shoot.
good finish.
Yeah,
Sharon
absolutely.
just did a sprint down there to get her arrow as she makes her way over to put on the headset, and there she is, Sharon Wallace, 2 in a row. Tell us about that.
I'm speechless. I'm just to win one against these girls is hard enough. And this weekend, a lot of people know we lost a dear friend, Connie Clifton, on off season, and we
ma'am.
set up a bucket for her, for people to put arrows in and just say something to say goodbye. And this is the arrow that I shot all weekend, and I shot the best score of my life. So this one's dedicated to her. Miss her like crazy. Sponsors, everybody, and of course my husband, Jack. He just always makes sure my stuff is good and works perfectly for me and pushes me to be the best that I can. So this one was emotional for me, for sure.
Well, Sharon, I personally had a great relationship with Connie, and I love her so much, and that means so much to so many people out here that you would do that in memory of her. And man, fantastic shooting, 2 in a row. Wow,
Thank
congratulations!
you so much. Thank you.
Big leads coming in there, Sharon. Congratulations, you earned it. Awesome shoot down.
Thanks again.
All right. What a great way to finish that, but we are not done yet. We're going to come back here with our Senior Pro Shootdown. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.